Welcome to Matters of Decorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. My love affair with martial arts starts off, as so many things in my life do, with an episode of Speed Racer. Episode 27, The Terrifying Gambler. There is a martial arts fight in that episode that is over the top and ridiculous, even by Speed Racer standards, and it caught me. My brother, 13 years older than I am, helped introduce me to kung fu movies and comic books with martial arts in them, and I absorbed it. I was a sponge. Before anime was anime, I was watching Super Robo shows on UHF channels and absorbing it through there, and old kung fu theater, and it was the 70s, and Bruce Lee was everywhere and just starting to erupt into American culture. It was an amazing time, and it left its mark. My father and I really connected over Enter the Dragon. And not so much Return of the Dragon. No, we owned that videotape. It cost us $100 at the time. Not sorry. And, cable television came to be a thing while I was growing up, and so you had access to all the Chuck Norris movies, Good Guys Wear Black, and The Octagon, and Lone Wolf McQuade. I was not well treated in schools I went to. I was the weird kid on the outside. But in junior high, I started working in the library before school. Went in and volunteered to work the desk for like 2 years out of that. And I discovered there was a section on self-defense in the library. I read it. There were 5 or 6 books, but karate, aikido, judo, jiu-jitsu. And started getting an academic understanding of this thing that I'd only seen in literature and movies. I started practicing a little bit of it at a time, and it made things easier. Not that I got into more fights or that I was that more effective in fights, but I found that martial arts had philosophies to them. Judo, in particular, and Aikido had these soft philosophies of, if force is directed against you, well, now that force is in your space and you get to elect what is done with it. If you just control balance and leverage and timing, you can take that force directed against you and put it someplace else. On the floor, usually. It's a good spot for it. I had friends through junior high and high school and college who studied the martial arts. And oh man, it was during high school that Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came out. The first comic books. Thank you, Rob, for introducing me to that. I have the second episode somewhere, first print somewhere, but not the first one, so I never thought that much of it. And with that academic understanding and that bit of practice I put in, I read The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee, and it kind of tied things together because Jeet Kune Do is one of those is an art form that encourages you and teaches you to take other forms and other styles and combine them and adapt them to your own single personal style, which has always appealed to me. But I thought I knew a lot about the martial arts. And then, I'm a role-playing gamer. And so what I find in role-playing games, because role-playing games emulate other literatures, you can find role-playing games to emulate just about anything you have a literary interest in. Oriental Ventures, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition, had a very good treatise on martial arts. But then there was Palladium Books, Ninjas and Super Spies. GURPS Third Edition Martial Arts was tremendous. R. Talsorian Games, Pacific Rim Sourcebook. All of these and others, Sengoku, Fusion, all of them had amazing academic work in the martial arts, but also relayed them to their game systems. These are the things that the martial art does. This is a description of the martial art, its literature, its history, how it came about, what its philosophy is, how it looks to practice it, and these are the elements of this game you add to your character so that your character knows that martial art. Oh man. And there were styles I knew nothing about. Muay Thai, Pancratium, Anchi. Ninjutsu's been around just forever, but the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role-playing game had really good martial arts stuff. Ninjas and Super Spies really expanded on it. And oh man, not only did my eyes open and my inspiration grow, but I went out and hunted some of these down. I never mastered a style. I don't have that kind of dedication, but I dabbled in a lot. And knowing Jeet Kune Do makes it kind of nice to dabble in things. You turns a bunch of techniques into like a smorgasbord. You take what works for you and leave what doesn't. But I studied various animal forms of kung fu. There is a Mantis Kung Fu school in Torrance. There are, in the surrounding area. There's a Shaolin dojo. There's all kinds of stuff. I still need to find someplace I can go and try and take some Krav Maga. It's an amazing self-defense form. It's one of the more modern martial arts and uses more modern philosophies. It's a great self-defense form for if you hate people and want to see them hurt. But its defensive techniques are magnificent. I may not be able to actually endure the physical conditioning necessary to perform Krav Maga properly, but man, I'd like to dig into it a little bit. I did notice, as I studied martial arts growing up, and as I became more acquainted with them, that it wasn't that I got into fights. I did get bullied less. One, this study of martial arts and the practice of role-playing games put me in social groups that gave me a layer of protection from people who thought I was weird, because I wasn't isolated anymore. I wasn't unique. I didn't stand out so much as, I was part of that weird group. And weird groups have a little bit better chance than weird individuals. Another part of that is that I knew I could handle myself if something happened. There was an element of fear missing from how I perceived and acted in the world. I could absolutely still get beaten up, but I was not going to get beaten up and the other guy walk away unscratched. If someone was going to take me down, I was going to make sure I could pick them out of a lineup by the fact that they were the person whose other leg bent the wrong way. I wrote a book of my own. In the Victory System, Disciples of the Blade not only talks about the cosmology of the Destiny 2025 setting, but also details more of the martial arts forms. It is not perhaps as detailed as some of the other books that I have mentioned, but it was never meant to be. I didn't want to take the approach of giving people laundry lists that they needed to fill to say that they knew a particular form. Rather, I went with a more holistic approach of, yeah, you know these techniques. What you want to say you know as a result, you probably do. If you are going to run a role playing game with martial arts as a heavy focus, you need to do some study. It's most games that will allow you to involve yourself in this kind of action will have plenty of information in it. Just go ahead and read that, but watch some kung fu movies. It's the age of Netflix and YouTube and Hulu. Go watch some kung fu. You'll be amazed. Watch some movies with wire work, some old Jet Li and Jackie Chan movies. The Hong Kong action cinema of the 80s and the American Hong Kong action cinema of the 80s and 90s is just amazing. If you've never heard the name Cynthia Rothrock, go look up some Cynthia Rothrock movies. I don't live my life as a martial art. I used to be a fit martial artist in college. Then I got addicted to pizza. Quick tangent. St. Louis in the 1980s is a terrible place to have been addicted to pizza. It's not, okay, St. Louis now, also a bad place to be addicted to pizza, but in the 80s, New York pizza, Chicago pizza, yeah, and St. Louis, because you can get it all there. Yeah, you go to the pasta house and you get these, or Rich and Charlie's, and you get this pizza with this really thin crust, and it's almost crackery, but also just a little bit chewy, and it's got that tangy sauce and seasoned cheese on top. Or you go to Balducci's and you get your deep dish. It's packed upside down, and it's got meat and cheese, and the sauce is on top, and there's so much wine in your pizza sauce that it's purple, and oh god. Or in the 1980s, Panteras with their big, soft, bready, cake-like pies of crust with that layer of crumbled sausage. And pizza's an addiction. I still, it's hard for me to eat pizza these days, but I make the effort. I can't eat as much, and that's probably a good thing. Sorry, pizza tangent. I can tell how I'm feeling about my day by what form I feel myself going into as I walk up and down my hall in the morning. Uh, Most days it's Tai Chi. These days it's mostly Tai Chi. I flow, I move, I try to go for an air of fluidity, be like water. This morning I found myself bringing up my fists and raising a knee and realizing I was going into Muay Thai. And that indicates that I haven't had quite enough coffee for this, but some shit's getting written, I'm telling you that. Martial arts have given me a lens on myself. I can read how my philosophy is flowing by how my body is moving. It's given me a lens on the world around me. I enjoy watching how people move. I enjoy checking people's balance. It's given me perspective. It is not a perspective I advocate for everyone, but it's good for mental fitness, it's good for physical fitness, it's good for a certain amount of spiritual fitness. You practice breathing and balance and focus, and those are never bad things to practice, no matter what discipline you follow them through. Be like water, my friend. Well, thank you for following me on this particular set of rants through martial arts and pizza. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If you have your own experiences with the martial arts or would like to know more about the martial arts, if you'd like to hear me talk about something different, go ahead and leave me a comment below. You'll love leaving me a comment. I'll love getting one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? It's awesome. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you so like. If you do hit the subscribe button, you might want to hit the notification bell next to it so you are informed when my videos go live. If you really dig the video or the channel and you'd like to support me in a more personal way, I invite you to hit me up my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps, and it allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you for your attention and time. I'm Scott Corum, this is what matters to me, and I will see you next time on the next Matters of Decorum.